This week, we're going in focus on historic Black educators from North Carolina as part of Black History Month. Some of these African-American leaders were also the founders of universities that are still around today, originally creating these schools as places for Black people seeking development, employment, and financial independence.
Dr. James Edward Shepard, who started out as a trained pharmacist, by the way, a graduate of Shaw University, 1894, the second graduate, African-American to graduate, second, and serve as a pharmacist in the entire state of North Carolina, thanks to his training right there at Shaw University. So this is a very good segue. But yes, he believed in investment in his people, in the African-American population. He worked very much not only as a pharmacist, but also with the International Sunday School Convention. And from there, he received this notion and this idea that became, as we call it, his dream, to create an institution that is and that's centered very much on the uplift of African Americans. He saw education as a means and a mechanism to do so, and that was I think, an important facet. He helped to found the North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company that is no longer with us, unfortunately. He founded the Mechanics and Farmers Bank as an agency of providing support for African American families to be able to help create a new cadre of leadership, a new cadre of educators in this generation. And so therefore, he went out and really lobbied to have his institution, which was chartered in 1909 and later established in 1910 as the National Religious Training School and Chautauqua Incorporated for the Colored Race. And yes, that's a long name, but so were his dreams and hopes and ideas about what this institution could become, a multifaceted institution that focused first, many are unaware, and that is largely because he was a minister, as well as his father, Reverend Dr. Augustus Shepard, and his mother, Miss Hattie Whitty Shepard, a missionary. And so he was a trained minister, went back to Shaw and got that degree in divinity. But he also helped to found this institution in 1910 to help fill the void, as he said, of African-American ministers who had the fervor, but many were not as educated. And so our institution offered up some of the first trained ministers right after Shaw, of training ministers and missionaries to kind of go out and, as he would say, transform the world and transform the places in which he lived. This year, the university will be celebrating again the 100th anniversary as the nation's first state-supported liberal arts institution in the entire United States of America. And so the legislature came along and believed in that as well. They started providing support in 1923 and full-on support in 1925. In Dr. Shepard's mind, he wanted to have one of the best institutions that there could be. For those unaware, up until his death in 1947, he was a lifelong Republican in a solid Democratic South. And so people ask the question, well, how was he able to get the support and aid that he had? Well, he had an early lobbyist, right? Mr. C.C. Amy, who he was sent over to the legislature and really lay out, we're talking in the 1920s, 1930s, lay out for the legislators what his institution needed to thrive and survive and to be one of the best institutions in the country. That earned him the nomenclature of being the Black Harvard of the South, right? And he was able to do it by, again, lobbying, asking for that aid, asking for that support, and helping them to see that, fine, if you're going to segregate us, but as he would say, segregation comes at a high price. And that price was providing him the funds that he needed to run his institution.
We'll be back here next week with another edition of In Focus. Until then, have a great week.